Okay, so we're going to do a fast demo, and we're going to do that demo on a couple of different items. Later we'll do it on this flash weld that has some EDM notches on it. But we're going to start out by doing it on this 10-inch 188, nominal 188 wall ERW seamed pipe. The ERW weld itself on this one is clean, there's no flaws in it, but we'll do a scan on that to see what a good clean fast scan looks like. And then we have some wafer wheel notches over here, some OD notches and some ID notches, and we'll see what a fast scan of simulated ID and OD defects looks like on this pipe. So I'm going to go ahead and set myself up. I'm going to recall my cal, check my cal, set my gain, and then go. And so I've already got my fast cal recalled. I'm going to undo my reference DB and recheck that. So I've recalled my cal. I'm going to check my cal. Go to my side drill pipe block. Put my index point right on the mark for the 1. 1 is near 1. 2 is near 2. 3 is near 3. 4 is near 4. Now I'm going to set my gain. So this is actually 208 wall, so I'll go to the 200 hole. That's the closest hole to the thickness we have. And that's just about 50% screen height. So I've set my gain, and I'm going to go ahead and activate reference DB. And at this point, if I add gain, I'll just add it or subtract it in increments of 6 dB. All right, so I've prepared a little something here. So we're going to do a scan on the ERW weld on this 10-inch actual 208 wall pipe. And so I'm going to do a couple of scans. I'm going to do a butt-up scan as close as I can get it to the weld, and a setback scan. And the setback scan, I want to shoot my 70 degree towards the ID at the root. And the formula for that is, we've gone over this before, is 2.75 times the thickness. 2.75 times 0.208 is 0.57. So I'm going to have the index point of my fast deucer set back 0.57. We're ready to scan, but I'm going to go ahead and mark this up. I don't know if you can see this black line. That should be where the center line of the ERW weld is. And 0.57 inches back from that should be right about there. So I'm going to take my 1/2 inch wide mag tape that I bought at Home Depot. Set that back there. And that point there is 0.57 inches back. And that's not where the front of the probe goes. That's where the index point goes. The index point is about 1/4 inch back from the front. So I'm ready to do a setback scan, and I'm going to do about this much of it. So this is a clean scan, clean weld, nothing there. So let's do the butt-up scan. And if I had a flash weld, I would just push it right up against the weld. But this weld is flush on the outside, so I'm just going to put the mag tape right on the center line. That gets me very close. And this is what we call a butt-up scan. Again, that's what a clean weld would look like, very clean. Then we would do scans, the same scans from the other side. I'm not going to repeat that right now, but it's going to look the same as that because it's a perfectly clean weld. But let's see what it looks like when we have some ID and OD flaws, in this case some wafer wheel. So I don't know if you can see all this from where you are with the reflections, but We've got some OD notches here and some ID notches here. And let's take a look at a close-up of a picture of that. Let me go set that up on this screen.
Easy.
Okay, here we are. So these are some OD notches. You might see them better in the photograph. And then we have some ID notches here. Did I pull up that photo? Yeah. So then inside, under here, we have these ID notches. And they were made with a Dremel wafer wheel. And I have the depths there in thousandths of inches. And let me put this back to live UT.
Easy.
All right, so we've got some OD notches and some ID notches, and they're numbered, I don't know if you can see these numbers, 654321. 654321. All right, so we've got varying depths here for like these ODs. The first one is 21 thousandths deep, which would be 10% of the depth, up to 109 thousandths deep, which would be 52% deep. And then for the IDs, ID number 6 here, the shallowest one is 21 thousandths. That'd be 10% deep. And then the deepest one back here is 90 thousandths deep. That'd be 43% deep. So let's go ahead and take a scan on that and see how that looks. So I want to be set up for a setback scan. Same thing, I'm going to be centered on the notches. But for my setback scan, I want to be set back with the index point 0.57 inches back. Should be good right about there. All right, and here we go. Let me count these back. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then now we're going to come into the IDs. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We detected them all very nicely. Now let's try a butt-up scan. And here we go. 6, whoops, I've got to be looking over here. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Did I miscount? 6, yeah, that's a little one. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and now the IDs. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, all good detections. So normally what we would do for a detection is, mark it. We do these scans from both sides, and as far as where it starts, right where the indication starts to come out of the baseline, that's a start. So I'd mark that right on the center of the transducer as the start of the flaw. And the end of the flaw would be right where it goes back into the baseline. So that would be the end of the flaw. All right, so it's a 3-step process. Detect. We have our detections. We had 12 detections. They detect, then characterize, then size. For characterize, let's look at number 4 now. Normally we would know it's an OD because we would see that on the mag. But I'm looking at the way this is walking, and that's walking like an OD. All the action is over here. Let's try this deepest OD. And that's walking like an OD. All that, the main action is over here, which is the way we expect to see ODs. Let's try, so for characterizing, I would say they look like they're ODs. Let's try a couple of the IDs. So the last signal up is the L wave, and it walks pretty far back. That does look like an OD. Now let's try this deepest one. Yeah, that walks way back. So they look like, those two look like ODs, these two look like IDs. Let's go ahead and try our sizing. So let's try to do some OD sizing first. Before I flip the camera on, I went ahead and made an OD sizing table. So I'm going to try and do my sizing in accordance with that table, which that was in an earlier video. So let's go ahead and try one of the ODs. Let's try this number 4 that we had characterized earlier. Side to side, oscillate. Alright, so I almost hit 30% there at about 75 deep. So because it's at 75 for me, I'm going to judge how deep it is by how loud it is. And it was hard for me to repeat that, but I did have it up almost to 30% screen height. Let's take a look at our table. ODs, okay, percent, almost 30% screen height, so a little bit less than this one. So I want to say that the depth is a little bit less than this number. So I could say 45. And the number 4 OD is 45 thousandths deep, so that one worked out exact. It doesn't always work out exactly. Let's try the deepest OD. So I want to look and see where it's peaking up. This is the signal I'm concentrating on. And this is peaking up a lot deeper than 75 thousandths deep on my screen. 75 thousandths deep on the screen is right about there, and this is peaking up a little past the 100. That's where I want to be right there. Alright, so I think I'm getting at 120. Maybe I'll say at 115. 90% at 115. Good idea to write it down so I don't forget. 90% at 115. At 115. Now that's somewhere between these two. So I want to say I'm somewhere between these two, like 110. And that actually is 109. Again, it doesn't always come out that close. All right, let's try sizing one of the IDs. Let's try this over here, number 3. See where I walk over the top. I'm watching the signal furthest to the left to see where I walk over the top. And the depth where I walk over the top, I'm going to call it right there, say 165. Let's look at our ID table. At 165, so that's a little bit closer, about halfway between these two. So I'm going to say it's, okay, it is 165. Remaining ligament. So if it's 208 wall, that would be 35 and 8, 42 thousandths deep. Number 3 ID is 40. Again, doesn't always come out that close. All right, let's switch over and take a look at the flash weld. All right, this is our second coupon we're going to look at, the flash weld. Here's our flash weld right here, and this is a floss catch. This is this joint has some high-low in it. You know, the T1 side is a little higher than the T2 side, and we've got this called 0 inches down here, so we're calling this the direction of flow. So this would be the T1 side here. This is the high side. That kind of lines up with this, like so. So there's several very, very small EDM notches in here, so I'm just going to start, we'll look at one in the middle of the plate here. It's got a flaw height of 30 thousandths. So, well, let's see. So we've got a material thickness. We'll figure out our setback distance, 2.75 times our material thickness, 0.248, equals 0.67. So our setback distance for a setback scan should be 0.67 inches. So I'll put 0.67 on the center, and I'm going to say that's where I want the index point of the transducer to be for my setback scan. For my butt-up scan, I'll just put it right up against the weld. And let's go ahead and do that. So I looked at that first video. I thought it looked a little dark, so I thought I would try this setup with the indication filled. So let's, we're still at our home base gain setting, 36 dB. Yeah, 248, that's closer to 200 than 300, so we could leave it there. So I want to get my index point here, right on that marked. That should be pretty close right there. So let's just do the middle section so we can find this flow in the sketch. And I had that filled so we can see it a little better now. And this indication back here, when you're doing a flash weld, that's this back side of the weld here, that's a geometry indication. As long as you can see all the way back to there, you know that your weld is clean in there. So let's run this down here, and boom. All right, so we're going to run this scan from the, to show this, from the T2 side, which is from this side. And so here we go. Boom. End of the boom. Alright, so we have a detection there. Starts right there. Right where it comes out of the baseline. I'd mark that as the start. And right where it goes back into the baseline, I would mark that as the stop. So that's our length sizing right there. Okay, so we have a detection. Let's walk in at that and see how it walks. That walks like an ID connected flaw, which that walks way, way, way back. All right, so we have it's a three-step thought process: detect, characterize, then size. So we have our detection, the characterizing. It's walking like an ID flaw walks, and so now we could do our sizing on it. And let's see at what depth we think we were walking over the top. So I'm going to scan along and try and find the loudest spot. These are EDM notches, they're all the same depth, so it's going to look pretty much the same depth everywhere. And where I'm going over the top, I'm going to call it 195. Let's look at our ID sizing table. At 195. Somewhere between these at 195. Okay, so the depth to the tip should be about 210. 210, and if our material thickness, depth to the tip is 210, and if our material thickness is 248, that 210 from 248 is 38 thousandths. All right, so I'm estimating 38 thousandths for a flaw height there. Pretty close. Doesn't always come out that close. All right, let's move this over and try another one. All right, so we're going to see how another one of these little tiny EDM notches looks. We got one in the middle of the flash weld. Its flaw height is 50 from here, so it only sticks up about 10 thousandths above the inside surface of the pipe, if that is 42. So let's see if we can detect that with a scan here in that neighborhood. And this signal right here is us hitting all clear through to the back wall, to the back of the geometry. Anything comes up in front of that, we want that to catch our eye. All right, here we go. And boom, there we have something right in front of it. There's our geometry from the other side. Start scanning, and boom, that one came up right in front of it. So that's our detection. Starts here, ends here. It's about that long. All right, so let's go in and do some characterizing. I would say that's got a fairly long walk. This is the signal I'm concentrating on. I'm going to pull back on it now. Low amplitude, not a very big flaw. It doesn't have a lot of flaw height, but I can walk it back pretty far. It does walk like an ID. All right, so detect, characterize. Now I want to do sizing. So let's see where we go over the top. The little ones are kind of hard to do. And I'm going to say where I go over the top is right around here, right around 230. All right, let's look at our ID sizing table. At 230, Faust depth, we went over at 230, somewhere between these two. So the RL is actually, I guess I could say the RL is 230. So if the RL is 230 and the thickness is 248, then I would want to say it's 18 thousandths above that. It's really about 10 thousandths. So that's pretty close. Doesn't always come out that close. All right, thanks a lot.